Hello, welcome back to my car cave. Today I have my first Ferrari for 2023. This is the Ferrari SF-23 from the Bahrain Grand Prix, the Carlos Sainz version of this car from BBR and 1/18 scale. I feel like I just did a video for the 2022 car, so I'm kind of excited to have a 2023 car so early in this calendar year. Anyway, it's typical BBR box. I'm not gonna spend any time on it. It's what we've always seen. Comes with a white sleeve on top of that. But let me go ahead and get the car out, and we'll take a closer look. So when I pulled this car out, heard some rattling in the box and that kind of stuff. And what I realized was this wheel nut was loose. So I thought I'd take this opportunity just to show you kind of what these wheels look like under here. This is the brake duct. They don't do any carbon fiber detailing or anything like that. It's just some basic black plastic. And then for the wheel, it's the cover. That's it. And in the real car, there's obviously a proper wheel underneath the wheel shroud. But for these models, they just make the wheel shroud and no underneath part, which I can't blame them. You wouldn't see it anyways. But just thought I'd show that to you out of curiosity before I fix this and we get on with the review. Okay, so now we got it out of the box. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the race history. This is the 2023 Ferrari SF-23. This car was deemed, I think, an improvement over the 2022 car. Performance-wise, they definitely, by the end of the season, were closing the gap on Red Bull. However, they only scored one win. They were the only team to actually beat Red Bull in a full race distance. McLaren did win a sprint race during the season as well, but other than that, Red Bull won everything, as we all know. So Carlos Sainz was the lone victor of the Singapore Grand Prix. This is the Bahrain. It's an earlier season car. Hopefully, they'll make a 2020 or sorry, a Singapore GP race car. Yeah. So again, Sainz finished. Like seventh in the championship. Didn't for a guy who won a race that seems pretty low, but he was only a couple points behind Leclerc, who was in fifth. Ferrari would finish third in the championship, losing ultimately to not only Red Bull but then Mercedes at the end of the season, who was coming on strong. So you know, is that a successful season for Ferrari? I think not, but I think they had some struggles, definitely some managerial issues, race management issues that definitely cost them some points. So I do think the car overall was a better performing car, but it didn't necessarily pan out in the results. So that said, let's go ahead and talk about some of the details of this BBR model. Go ahead and talk about the things I like about this BBR model. So like I said, this is BBR, and as I've told you guys before, BBR works with many champs to produce these models the way that Spark works with Look Smart to do their models, and so you'll see similarities on the mini champs and the BBR, and you'll see similarities on the um, Sparks and the Look Smart. So first off, on the mini champs, they don't do the front wings. They don't do individual wing planes. So obviously BBR does not as well. So that's an example of how you kind of know that these are from the same basic supplier or manufacturer. But that said, let's go ahead and talk about what I do like about this model. There's a lot to like. First of all, I like the color. I'm not a big fan of the matte Ferrari color finishes. In the past, I think I've mentioned that. This is a brighter red, so it looks more, traditional to the Ferrari. So that I like. The last season was kind of a dark color. I really didn't like that so much. So yeah, I like this color a lot better. Talking about color, the red on the wheels. So, I'm pretty adamant about not liking the red wheel. markers on these cars. I think, in the past it was darker. I went and checked a few models, and they had been this kind of brighter red color, which stands out not only on the camera but actually in person for a change. Um, and I think really it was only the 2022 season that they were kind of too dark for my liking. So that said, I mean, I'm still, would love to have this with yellow because I think it looked good against here and against some of the other color schemes on the Ferrari livery. White would also be a nice one. But yeah, this red actually, again, it's brighter, not just on the camera, but actually in person. So, I think that's definitely better. Um, yeah, photo etching. So, yeah, these models are obviously a little bit more expensive than the mini champs, but frankly, if you can get them on sale, they're not that significantly higher priced. You get a lot more detail, a lot more photo etching. So all these little air veins here, I'm gonna move this box. Sorry, it's in the way. All these little air veins here, all that's photo etching here, photo etch there, glued on. These little loops here, connecting loops here. That's all photo etched. There's definitely, this is photo etched. This little vein up here might be painted plastic, but so you get a lot more detail. You get the little sensors here, as well as in the back that you don't get typically on the regular mini champs anymore. You did for a while, but they're super fragile. So they kind of did away with that on the regular mini champs release. You get things like these little dots for these handholds or access panels that you don't get on a mini champs. So that's super nice. You get, this is a photo etched antenna here in the front. However, I believe these two feel like they're kind of plastic. This has kind of a little knob on the end. So I think these are plastic. However, this main one is photo etched. And that would be an upgrade to a mini champs. Um, then moving back here, you see you get tons of rivets. So everywhere there's a rivet, you can see there's a silver dot or silver marking. Um, Hopefully that shows up on camera, but probably looks black on camera here. But it's they're actually silver, and so every little rivet is accounted for, which I think is a really nice upgrade. It's much more realistic. I think they do a great job. On a mini champs, you might see the divot, but you wouldn't get the paint in there that you would see here. You do get a photo etch tie back or stabilizer here. That's definitely an upgrade. Um, you get a different, instead of a chrome, it's a gold chrome exhaust. I've mentioned that before. I like that here, but it'd also be a negative in other ways. Wheels are always great. Many chance wheels, I think they do the best in the business. They've got a marking or kind of a tread on the side here that on the sidewall that's true to the real car. You don't see that on Look Smarts and the Sparks as much. Something I can't verify, but this wing edge, it looks thinner. Yeah, I recently got a Red Bull, and that one's kind of a thicker end plate. And I don't know if that's car specific or if this one just, you know, is in fact thinner and therefore a little more accurate. So I do like that. Um, and then obviously, the cockpit looks really nice. This particular one, they don't use the iridium lenses because this was a night race and they would have used probably a clear lens, which, would have been nice and to have a clear lens on there, but Mini Champs, does not make a car like, does not make a helmet like Spark. So that they had to default back to their kind of brown logo. Um, let's see what else. And obviously, my favorite is the carbon fiber decaling. I think they do a great job. It's a little like the regular mini champs. It's a little hard to see, even to the naked eye, without a magnifying glass, because they do kind of a more matte carbon fiber. So the stripes are really kind of hard to see. Here, they're around the nose cone. There's definitely different striations that's realistic to the car. You've got the carbon fiber here decaling. You have it on the wheel shrouds as well. Um, and then you have tons of different carbon fiber decaling here. You have some checkerboard decaling, a little bit of smaller print checkerboard here. Then you got some striations back here. And then we get back to this checkerboard that's pretty prominent here and here as well, and then through the back of the car. Um, and then you got more kind of striated carbon fiber decaling here. And unlike the regular release of Mage James, at least on the Red Bull, this is carbon fiber on the inside here as well. As on the main plane here, the wing. So I think they do a great job with the carbon fiber. And then all these inlets and these gills, even here, the carbon fiber, just to continue with that theme, some of these are, some of the grain is running this way, some of it's running this way on different louvers. So they've obviously looked at the pictures and seen that the louver, the way the grain runs is different from side to side or from louver to louver. I think is interesting. And then these louvers, I think they did a really good job here. They're not hollow. They're it's a black paint or something that's making that louver effect. But I think it looks really good. So lots to like on this car. I think it's a really nice model. Ferrari used this bathtub design again, a little bit less deep or groove than before. They have these interesting little air. I don't know if you can see it in here. There's a air intake there as well, and in this outlet here that they used, kind of a F duct style thing that showed up on the Red Bull in 2024. They got carbon fiber decaling in here as well as in the wing. So lots of carbon fiber decaling and lots of um, different variations of the carbon fiber. So I appreciate that extra effort to do that. So lots to like on this model. Okay, so what don't I like about this model? Not a lot, but just a couple things I'd like to point out to you. In this particular case, we have a QC issue. This vent panel here is a separate piece, and you can see mine sits proud. Therefore, it sits above it's not flush with the rest of the body panel the way it is over here and should be. So that's just, it's a QC issue. It's kind of unfortunate. You can see how it sticks up there. But that's specific to mine, and so I wouldn't think most of the BBRs are like that. So, but I wanted to point that out. Up here, these little air directional vanes, it's a solid piece here. In the past, this would have been done by photo etch, both by BBR and, mini champs, or sorry, Spark. And so I think, this time they kind of copped out. It's one block piece, which we know it wasn't. So that's kind of unfortunate there. Um, Additionally, some kind of the double talk, decal wise, this is, it's so fine. It's hard to see with the naked eye. Maybe a little more obvious on camera, but just, looking at it in person, it's really hard to distinguish the patterns and the differences in patterns. Although they do make a better effort here for the separation, it's kind of hard to see, all that stuff that's going on in here. So you miss out, just with the naked eye to get a kind of a magnifying glass. Paint. So I love the paint. It's definitely a brighter, better color than before. But that said, it's definitely different on the plastic piece versus the die cast piece. I'm not sure how well it picks up on camera here. It's just brighter on the a little more obvious here. It's just brighter on this plastic piece. I'm not sure how you rectify that. Maybe a darker primer underneath, like a gray or a black primer, might bring these colors closer together. But anyways, that's just kind of another execution flaw that's a little bit disappointing. And then, something that kind of bothers me is this, new trend of printing the carbon fiber texture on there. Well, it looks decent. It could be better. And, I think they do a good job of trying to do different weave patterns and all that kind of stuff between here and say here. And, they did do a better job of wrapping it around in the back here. That said, I'd really don't, I'd rather them do a decal, though I suspect it must be cheaper to do it this way. And then lastly, this is a piece that I think could really be photo etched or something like that. At this price point, have this kind of, it's gold chrome, which is better than before, but I'd like to see something along the lines of Spark going forward. So again, not a lot to complain about here. I think it's a well executed model. Super happy to have it in my collection. And if you like the video, go ahead and hit like, hit subscribe. I'll have some more videos soon.